Hey y'all, good afternoon. My name is Keisha and welcome back to my channel. I want to come on this camera and talk about feeling safe. When I say feeling safe, immediately most people think, you're physical, meaning that, you're in a safe place, safe environment, something like that, which can play a little part on it. But I want to talk about specifically that now I feel safe in my own skin, feel safe in my own being. Let me be more specific with that. Growing up, I always felt like there was some tension. I always had to not physically fight, but maybe verbally fight someone, whether it's a family member, a friend, someone I went to school with. It was always seemed like there was some type of argument, even if there's no reason to argue. And when you grow up that way, you don't realize it, but after some years, your body becomes tense. Your body becomes so tense that I remember, and this is just me talking, but I recorded in a studio for a job. And I remember, of course, as I was talking in the microphone, this was my first time being in a studio. At first I felt, a little nervous, but as the time went by and I kept talking and talking, I felt my body kind of felt like some type of release. And once it did that, all of a sudden I had like a lot of tension in the back of my neck and my shoulders. And I was just thinking, okay, at first when it happened, I just went to the gym maybe a day before, so I thought maybe that's the reason why. But I did not know, after I allowed myself to just be and just relax for the first time ever, just be happy, that I was carrying so much tension from all the years of wanting to protect myself. Again, whether it's physically, emotionally, it was just, I was fighting. I was constantly fighting. Now that I'm moved to LA and I've been in Los Angeles for about 4 months so far, I was still carrying on that tension some way, somehow. It was just, again, I've been doing this for years. I've been protecting myself for so many years because of the type of people that I dealt with, the type of society that I dealt with. I grew up in the South, and even though, this is it's about to be 2026, there are still a lot of prejudiced people, and not necessarily from white folks. I'm talking about black on black or brown on brown, colorism, the generational curse of feeling less than that you put upon the next generation, and so forth and so on. So it can be as small as, well, I don't want to say it's a small thing. It can be, for instance, oh, I can't talk. It can be, for instance, like hair texture, and how people are treated a certain way due to their hair texture. And I saw that a lot in the black community. In fact, I wanted to speak on that because I remember growing up and feeling invisible. I felt invisible, but again, I still feel like I had to protect myself. It was just a mental thing. I never knew who was going to yell at me for whatever reason. And by the time I was 10 or 11 years old, I got my first relaxer. And all of a sudden, because of my hair texture, again, I was a kid. I didn't care about that stuff. I just wanted to play outside. But regardless, when people saw how my hair looked after the relaxer, all of a sudden I was visible. All of a sudden I got this attention. All of a sudden I was a human being. You see what I mean? And this is just coming from me. So I know that as a whole, especially in the African American community, that I'm not the only one who's felt this way. I know I'm not the only one. Sorry. I didn't mean to bust out laughing, but I just happened to look and I saw this girl just randomly dancing in the park. And I'm like, she must be filming a TikTok video. I'm sorry, girl, but I gotta record you. It's so hilarious just to see somebody just randomly dance. See what I mean? Sorry, it was just like I'm talking and all of a sudden somebody's just dancing by themselves. But I know it has to be related to TikTok. So, and I know I'm just jumping around. I think that's why I don't have a TikTok. I keep thinking that it's so immature that, you know, most people just do random dances and stuff. One day I'll change my mind and get a TikTok, but for now, I'm not feeling it. Let me get back to the video. We talked about the hair texture thing, right? It goes from that to my skin color or other people's skin color or the shape of their body. Some people carry more fat in their body than others, like I do. Even at my smallest, I've always been a little bit thicker than everybody or most people. This is the way my body is. But regardless, when you're surrounded by that type of environment that judges you constantly, and especially if you get the judgment from your own family members, you really feel like you are a prisoner in your own body. That's how it is. You really feel like that you are just not enough. That's what it is. You feel like you're not enough no matter what you do, no matter what you say. And again, think about carrying that type of mentality for years, right? In case you have not followed me on YouTube and everything, when I recorded my video, my very first video, it was more to vent about how I felt in the moment, vent about just the circumstances that I went through. That's kind of how it started. And then as time progressed, I got more comfortable doing YouTube videos to a point where I'm like, I want to take this to the next level, or see where I can take myself or see how I can take myself to the next level. So eventually that's how I ended up moving to Los Angeles. Nothing significant so far has happened with my YouTube because I moved to Los Angeles, but it's not even about that anymore. Like, I changed spiritually, mentally. I have changed so much, and for the first time in my life, I feel safe. I feel safe to be myself. You see? Now, it's not like, you know, I feel 100% better per se. It's something that it's going to take time, you know, but I'll say percentage wise, I say like at least 75 to 80% safer than I did a couple years ago living in the South. Nothing against the South. It was just that I knew from a young age it was not for me. I just felt trapped because here's another thing. Because of my happy-go-lucky nature, I always want to be the type of person that encourage others and be nice to people, and to the point that I became a doormat. People picked up on that really quickly, even if I didn't. You know, of course I didn't. I mean, I didn't understand. I did not understand why people were treating me a certain way, as if, you know, I was just disposable. And that's because I was too available, you know? Then, hang on. A truck is about to leave, so there's gonna be some noise. Hang on. When I finally realized how I was being treated, I started saying no a lot more, right? And what happened is that the people who benefited, the people who found a benefit of me being submissive or available, they started to be a lot meaner to me. It was like their fix was gone, if that makes sense. I was taking away their drug, which is my happy-go-lucky nature of being nice. So I realized that those are not my true friends. And I got to a point where I was okay with not having any friends. And I know that in the grand scheme of things, it may sound lonely, but that was the first part of me feeling safe. I felt safe of being by myself because I did not have to perform for anyone. You know what I mean? But that was just a small chunk. When I moved to LA, I still had that insecurity about me. Like, I felt like I was on display. Or, you know, I didn't feel that safeness yet. And not because it's LA, it's just that I was still holding on to past wounds, past mistreatment, past abuse. So I found myself isolating a lot because I still felt like being by myself was the safest option, because it worked in Alabama, it worked in the South, so it should work here, right? Now, here's the thing. So after some reflection, I was like, okay, Keisha, you are safe to venture out and meet new people. You are safe to be in a new relationship. No one's going to abuse you. Nobody. The reason why I say that is because my mindset has changed about how I felt about myself. I stopped tolerating people that only looked at me as a tool. You know what I mean? I stopped tolerating people that have not fixed their own issues or their own wounds. You know, things like that. I got to a point where, look, dude, if you got some issues going on, I'm sorry, I cannot fix it for you. And that's another thing. I realized in the past, I was attracting people who weren't trying to fix their issues on their own. So they were projecting their negativity on towards me. Yeah, they were projecting their negativity towards me, even though I didn't do anything. You see? Now that I finally said, Keisha, you're safe, I even have a funny voice that I make. It makes me think about my dog Sasha. You might see her on my shorts or what have you, but I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. But I have a thing where if I'm close to an animal, I like to pretend that it talks and I have its own special voice. So sometimes when I had that anxiety of feeling, insecure, I'd be like, Keisha, you're safe. You're safe. So that's my way of saying that I'm safe. And I pretend that's how my parents' dog talk. You're safe. Sorry, being goofy. But on a serious note, when I told myself that finally you are safe, no one is going to hurt you. And again, this is not the physical thing. This is more emotional and spiritual. All of a sudden, when I walk around, I'm attracting new friends, definitely attracting dudes, and actually dudes that I'm attracted to. Now, you do get the occasional guy who, they have issues. So despite how confident you are, they're still going to try to approach you. But it's got to a point where after a few minutes of talking to them, I know that this is not somebody I want to be around. You know what I mean? And I'm usually always right. Always right. Because months later, they contact me and I'm like, dude, I've been ignoring you. Why you're still trying to contact me? Then that's when I'd be like, okay, let me go ahead and stop being so nice to them and tell them the truth. I'm not interested. And I don't have to give you an explanation. And that's another thing. And this is especially for you ladies who's watching this video. If you say no to a guy, you don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to tell them why you said no. Just say no and walk away. I mean, it doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter if they call you all kinds of names. If in crazy scenarios, some men just think that, oh, you're a black woman. And again, this is mostly black men, black woman relationships. But a lot of these men feel like they're entitled to you just because. Airplanes, they've been flying all day. Okay. I find that there's a lot of black men who feel entitled to you just because you're a black woman. That's it. That's it. They feel like they own you because you're a black woman. Make it make sense. But that's the thing. I don't sit there and try to ask why or try to figure things out now or try to say, I wonder why this guy is like this or he's talking to me. No. I'm moving on, okay? I already told you what I said, and that's that, and do what you want with that. So that's what I wanted to talk about when it comes to, especially relationships, being safe in your own skin, in your own body, knowing your own worth, knowing what you bring. I really hate using the term bringing to the table because it makes it sound like the relationship is transactional, and that's another thing. I grew up thinking that all relationships, whether it's romantic, platonic, family. I grew up with people who only love me for a transaction, meaning that they're getting something from me. And I was thinking that that's the way I had to love people, that I had to get something from them. Give me a second, let me pause. Okay, so sorry for the different angle. The car that was right next to me left, and now the sun is just beaming on my face. I was used to being in transactional relationships, and funny enough, this is just, I don't have any way to study this, but just my day-to-day life, I would say at least 85% of relationships that you see are transactional. And that's not the way to live. That's not the way to love. I'm sorry. And I refuse to be with someone on a transactional basis. I did that before. That shit sucks, okay? It really sucks. So when it comes to friends, relationships, it has to be a mutual thing. Like, meaning that I enjoy being around you, you enjoy being around me. Period. I mean, what's more to it? We enjoy each other's company and we support each other. Period. I feel safe. Now that I don't think about dating guys who just want something from me, or being friends with somebody who just wants something from me. You know how many people I had to block this year? And I'm talking about on social media, phones, things like that. In some way, they still get through by texting me from a different number. I'm not going to go there. But regardless, I feel safe now because I closed the door on those transactional things. Sorry, let me pause. Somebody's next to me. Let's go outside. Let's get out the car, sit in the park. Let's go outside. Okay. So I hope you can hear me. There's people playing basketball in the background. Another thing, when I say that I feel safe, is that I feel safe to be myself. Another thing is that I met a lot of people who wanted to mold me into whatever version of their ideal friend or relationship was, to a point where I forgot who I was. You know what I mean? Like, I really forgot who Keisha was. Even though I'm not 100% there yet, I know that I'm so much closer than I was so long ago. These airplanes. Give me 1 second. Okay, where was I? That's what I mean by being safe. Another airplane. Give me a second. I feel safe in my own skin, to a point where when I post stuff online, whether it's a video or Instagram or Facebook, I don't care who looks. I don't care what I post. You know what I mean? I don't need anybody's validation. At the end of the day, this is what I like, and this is my art. You either like it or you don't. And you know what you do when you don't like stuff? Well, you're supposed to leave, but people just stay because they're nosy as hell. Let's just be real. I'm safe to be who I am. I'm safe to be me, whatever that looks like, whatever that transforms into. And I'm not apologizing anymore for my choices, for anything. No. I'm closing the door to the past. And I guess this is a good way, because right now it's December 2025. So I guess I don't want to say it's a New Year's resolution because this is permanent, but this is a good way to close the year. That when I moved to LA, I had some insecurities, and as time progressed and I see how my community that I live in, the people nearby, how they treat me, which they treat me with such respect because I respect myself. I walk around like I'm the shit. So it is what it is. It's not being cocky. It's just that I know my worth now. I know what I bring to society. And whoever watches the video, whether now or in the future, it might change somebody's life in their own perspective. That's how I look at it. And I feel like I won. If somebody changes their life for the positive after watching my video, I won, because I feel safe. This airplane. Why did I decide to record by airport? I have no idea, but lesson learned. Not gonna do that again. Whoever's watching this video, it's not just about me, it's for you as well. That even though you might be comfortable in your lifestyle right now, if you don't feel safe, then what's the point? When I say that, when you don't feel safe to be yourself, what is the point? To impress your friends, your family members, people who will kick you out of their community if you're not like them, put it that way. Trust me, like I don't want to say physically kicked out, but spiritually I have been kicked out of my community years ago, even before I knew myself. And that's fine. That's fine. I got kicked out, and now I'm in this beautiful, beautiful city. And I can't wait until next year how LA is going to be for me and for my channel, all that. Because again, I feel safe. I hope you liked this video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, this is going to be good. All right, see ya.